So our project is designed to follow the flow of a molecule of water from the freshwater Everglades out into Florida Bay and the Gulf of Mexico. And so we have two major sloughs in the southern Everglades that are conduits for that water flow. One is Taylor Slough and the other is Shark Slough. And today we're going up Shark Slough. We have to get to it through the series of lakes, and we'll get out into the Gulf of Mexico and come up into the mouth of Shark River, and we'll go all the way up into where it begins to transition into that marsh mangrove, what we call an ecotone. But at any rate, we're following the flow of water in Everglades National Park from the headwaters of the freshwater, or from where the freshwater comes into Everglades National Park, all the way out into the marine zone. And we are measuring everything from the quality of the water to the salinity, both above ground and below ground, and the bedrock, the hydrologic flows that are happening, surface and in that limestone aquifer, as all the way up to the dynamics of our major predators like sharks and even dolphins and alligators. And in doing all of that, what we've seen is a gradual increase, and this is not all that surprising, but the rate of it is surprising, an increase in salinity in our groundwater and surface water, particularly in our dry season when there's not a whole lot of fresh water moving through the system. Throughout the what we call coastal ecotone, which is that transition zone between the sawgrass meadows and the mangrove forest. And in addition to, and driven by that change in salinity, we're seeing interior word marching of the mangrove forest, and a process that we're really surprised to see is, and a process that's kind of alarming in nature, is a collapse of the soils that underlie the freshwater sawgrass marsh, and we call that process peat collapse. And what we don't really understand is whether or not this is something that has occurred over longer periods of time in the past, and is the reason why we have great big open water lakes in the southern Everglades. So it might be something that is a persistent feature of the Everglades that now we've accelerated. But the fear of this is that it's a self-reinforcing kind of phenomenon. Once you lose that soil, it's gone. You create a very stained water column, a very dark water column, because all that mud has kind of gone up into the water and distributed in it and become, it breaks down, and when it's in dissolved form, it causes that kind of dark water. And that keeps plants from being able to effectively grow into that space. And so, you deepen the water column. You create a place where nothing can effectively grow. We're not even sure if mangroves can very easily invade those areas because it's too deep for them and too dark for them to get going. And so we may be seeing an expansion of this lake-like habitat in these critical zones between the mangrove forest and the sawgrass marsh.
Okay.
And that may further accelerate the way that saltwater can then encroach upon the interior freshwater landscape of the Everglades. So it just creates an even greater urgency for moving fresh water into the system, because we have these tipping points, right? And when you're on the edge of a tipping point, when you see some evidence that you're really kind of on the edge of a major state change that seems irreversible, calling attention to this problem and doing whatever we can to remediate it is really, really important. The pace at which we accelerate freshwater restoration is going to matter to the future of being able to do anything with restoration. So this just kind of underscores the importance of restoring water flows now.